You're listening to the Elevated Life Real Wellness and Transformation podcast, where we cut through the noise and get real about fitness, nutrition, mindset, and spiritual growth. We are glad you're here. Join us and elevate beyond the ordinary. Elevated Life walks alongside the internally driven individual as they transform their life through wellness, movement, mindset, and personal responsibility. Wellness being the foundation, movement is the tool, mindset is the driver, personal responsibility is the container, and lived experience is the proof. This episode marks a shift.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, it's a shift because we have spent the last year doing the work of awareness. We've talked about trauma, dysregulated nervous systems, attachment styles, narcissistic spectrums, diving into our own things, right? Why you don't want to go to the gym issues, like all the stuff. And that all mattered. But now we're shifting into something else.
Yeah, really what it boils down to is understanding those things in your life. That's great, but that's not changing it.
No, it isn't. And I feel like, we've got two kind of really loud camps right now. One is, okay, we're really identifying trauma and nervous system and narcissism and attachment styles and all these things, right? And that's great. I think everyone should dive deep into that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have another camp still, because this camp is always loud and obnoxious in my mind. That is like, who gives a shit about that? Everyone wants to talk about trauma and their safe space and blah, 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 blah. And, everyone's had a shitty life and, time to move on.
Right.
And I agree with part of that, time to move on. But if you have to look at the ugly and then move on, because that's what, that's what created you. Your nervous system is created from zero, from in the womb to 12. So why you do the things you do is important to look at, but swimming around in it, and now we're done with that.
Mm-hmm.
We have spent the last year doing this ugly, cry, face, dirty mess.
Yeah.
And now it's time to move out of that. And if you've been listening to the podcast, we have brought you along on that journey, hoping that you would do that same work. Take the time to look within, dig deep, find out where you are, right? But now we've identified it. There's awareness there, and we are moving to the other side.
Yeah. And I was just going to say along those lines, if you're new to the podcast, go check those out.
Yeah.
Because, nothing that we're saying here now or in the future, that's not invalidating what we've said before. That's not invalidating, recognizing and addressing and identifying those things within you. All that stuff is super important.
Yeah.
And we've done tons of podcasts about it. So, if this is your first or second episode with us, I would highly recommend going back, dig back into the archives and check out some of those that maybe make sense. At the same time, let's move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're still collecting reasons to live in this, this podcast is going to be a little hard hitting.
Yes.
It's not going to land super. And we started this, the conviction of this started for the last Gym Ready series that that I derailed.
Mm-hmm.
I just was so sick of, we've identified all this shit. Okay. We have got to move on. Like, it's just time.
Yeah.
And so that's, pretty much it.
Yeah.
We're done explaining.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Not that those things aren't valid. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll go back to that because they are. You have to identify them to grow, but all done swimming around.
Yeah. Yep. And that's going to be a theme that we're going to have, pretty much all the time moving forward. Recognize it and then move forward. Live in the solution.
Yeah.
Not living in the problem.
Yeah. And once the fog clears, the choice becomes obvious. So I feel like we've been living in a necessary fog, right? Those things are necessary, but that's all lifting now.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. We're done with excuses.
Yeah.
We're moving forward. I think that's pretty clear. I'm really excited about it. I know, because it just, like you said, just to echo what Jonna just said, it really has felt like, man, we're making a lot of excuses, and rightfully so. As far as where that's
The process of healing,
Mhm.
right? Like,
And maybe it's, sorry to interrupt, but maybe it's not so much excuses. They're only excuses if you allow them to dictate your action.
yeah,
It's not an excuse to say, I'm scared shitless to go to the gym.
right.
That's not an excuse until you say that for years and never say, hey, I got to get over it and I got to try.
Yeah.
Is if you recognize it and move forward with action, then, then that's the appropriate step. Then it's good that you identified it.
Absolutely. So this is super important. Okay. And don't take this wrong, but listening to podcasts or looking up Instagram exercises or mindset hacks or affirmations or fucking wellness hacks, right?
Yeah.
That all can seem productive in your mind, right? But this is just a dopamine hit, right? You feel seen, you feel understood, but listening to something isn't the work.
Isn't right. Exactly. It, we get, and I would say myself included at some point in my life, we get so bombarded with the self-help stuff. If you were, if you were of our generation or older, that was self-help books were like, oh, this is the wave. This is the future.
Sure. But in the same sense, it was also, this is only for weak people. Only weak people. Like when Tony Robbins first broke.
Yeah, that is true.
Like, oh my gosh, it's like therapy. Therapy, but I'm stoned all day long. Yeah.
So really what it boils down to is that preparation of, learning something, picking up a book or listening to a podcast or, following people on social media, whatever avenue that is, that preparation is critical.
Yeah.
But that preparation has an expiration date.
Yeah.
So if you prepare for 25 years, okay, now I'm ready to go to the gym. Like,
right.
Well, yeah.
It's the dopamine hit that we're talking about, right? So you can kind of trick yourself into thinking that you're doing the work because you're reading affirmations or you're reading the books.
Mm-hmm.
But when I recommend books, I'm like, this is a great book. But what's better is when you start to walk it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a book is just a book unless you're going to implement, right? Looking at a fitness influencer is just looking at a fitness influencer unless you're going to go to the freaking gym and do it.
Yeah.
Right. Identifying where you're at on the narcissistic spectrum is great and all, but unless you're going to break it down and go, okay, this is the behavior that I do. Here are the tools that I'm going to do to not do that anymore. And it's going to feel weird and it's going to feel unregulated, but that's because my body is used to being in that. Okay, time to move.
Yeah.
Right. And really, that's what we're moving into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of what it boils down to in my mind is, all that stuff is great and, whatever, but it just becomes entertainment. If that's what you're going to do with it, if your action is, okay, I read this book, it's fantastic. Now I got to go get another book.
Yeah.
Then it was just entertainment, and that's fine. But, quit bitching about where you are.
Totally.
If it's going to be, oh, I got to read 7 more books on this, or, find 8 more podcasts or 10 more influencers before I can really, then I'll be ready.
Yeah.
That's just, it's bullshit is really what it is.
Well, it keeps you stuck, guys. Right. And we really want to help the person who is internally driven. right? They've identified these things, or they're in process of identifying these things that have kept them stuck. But they no longer want to do the blame game or wait for some outside motivational quote to inspire them to get their ass to the gym on Monday, or to, deal with whatever that is.
Yeah.
Right? Like, those days are done, and we need to start moving into a more solution based, what do I want to say, road, whatever journey. That's where we're at. This is us expressing and sharing our journey with you. And we have spent the last year doing this dirty work. And I'm not saying that it's done, because, like I've said before, healing is an infinity sign, right? And it'll circle back, but it won't be as, right, traumatic. That first look into your attachment style is like, right? That first look into, why do I not go to the gym? The first look into whatever. How was my central nervous system formed for the first 12 years? That's scary shit, right? And then when you circle back, you're like, oh, I already know that. And oh, now I'm dealing with these little things that are coming up instead. And you get better and better, just like starting anything. You suck at it at first and it scares the out of you. And then you get better and better. And we're moving into that, right? Right. And I want to make it clear that, when we talk about childhood trauma, we're not blaming anyone, right? I want to make that really clear with trauma, because this notion of like, my parents did me wrong or whatever, that they made my central nervous system out of whack. This is why I'm a narcissist. Okay, great. Okay. They didn't fucking know. They were doing the best that they could. It's time to move on, right? Same with any of the gym shit. Like, it just covers everything. It's time to quit blaming. We've already talked about forgiveness. We move on. Okay. That's where we're at.
Yeah. Forgiveness internally. Is what I'm talking. And that plays to what you're talking about is not finding other people to blame ever.
Yeah. If you're still in that blame game, go back and listen to old podcasts.
Yeah.
It's not going to be comfortable for you to move forward with us, because it's going to be a little bit less coddling. I mean, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Like, it's just time. It's old news, and it's time to move forward. If you haven't made it to that spot yet, it's okay, but maybe time to go back and deal with those things, because you can't skip a step. You just can't. You can't move to the whole safe spaces are stupid, blah, 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 while you're still medicating yourself with whatever that looks like. Right.
So really what we have now and what we have moving forward, and we've touched on this stuff quite a bit in the past, but with a little bit different emphasis now, is all the other tools.
Yeah.
So once you've taken that first step, once you've not just recognized I need to do something, but it's like I'm starting. I opened that door. I put my foot on that path. Now what the hell do I do? Okay, I need to eat whole foods.
Yeah.
Whatever, just as an example. But how do I build on that?
Yeah.
This is building on that. The analogy that I always like to use, that we use quite a bit, is what supplements do. Excuse me. Whether it's vitamins or, whatever supplements you're taking, they're not going to fix your ailment. Like Jonna talks about all the time, people are like, I'm so depressed and I'm so overweight and I've got these autoimmune issues and, whatever it might be. What herb do I take?
Yeah.
Like, none.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to get you from 0 to 100. You got to take some steps and then add in the herb that's going to take, it's going to incrementally help. Yeah. So the stuff that we're talking about now is like, I'm on round 2 or round 3 of that healing infinity loop. And I got through that first part, and holy shit, it was tough, but I got through it. Now it's a little bit better, but now maybe I can add in a little bit of meditation.
Right.
or a little bit of grounding, or enhance my breath work a little bit, or, I've been doing body weight squats at home and getting through that shit. Now let's get to the gym, or, whatever it might be.
That said that internally driven.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
This is something we really need to, this is what has been, I think the seed was planted months ago, but it didn't break ground until the last couple of weeks.
Mm.
The exhaustion of trying to convince people that they need to do all this work.
Yeah.
Right? When they just, right? I want someone who, and this goes for my clients, this goes for the people that I want in my life, that are self-driven, who realize the self-responsibility, right? Who want to walk alongside, that I'm not freaking dragging along as dead weight, that just really have no intention of even standing the fuck up on their own.
Right.
Right? Like I just can't do it anymore. Right? And there are people out there that want to do that, and that's okay. And that was my calling for a very long time. Right? Tossing out that lifeline and dragging them along. But then what ends up happening is they end up pulling you. Just like the analogy of the rotten apple with all the, right? That's just how it does. Right? I mean, and we're kind of moving past that into walking in the fullness of who we are individually, and then wanting to help people who want to walk, right?
Yeah. Who
want to get up.
Yep.
And want to walk.
Yep.
Not the ones that are just like, no, I'm going to live in this. I'm going to swim in this for a really long time, and I'm going to blame everyone. And I'm going to say I want change, but really I'm unwilling to do any of the work that it takes to change. But I want to sit and talk about it endlessly, or blame me, you,
Right.
you,
Yeah.
and, project all my shit everywhere. Like, all done. Yeah.
So I think anyway, we've expressed that, how we're feeling, where we've been. What does us moving forward actually look like? What is going into 2026? Let's talk a little bit about what that, expand a little bit on what that really looks like.
I'd like you to start with that expansion, sir.
All right.
Because I've already got my soapboxes, and I know that people really enjoy your voice more than mine, and I agree with them.
Well, okay. We can move on from that. But so in this whole self-reflection, taking our own advice really is what we've been doing, trying to walk the walk and not just talk the talk. We've spent a lot of time trying to boil down where we are, and more importantly where we're going, and how to really talk about that in a way that makes sense to people, that makes sense to you all, with, okay, I'm wherever I am in that, in that infinite loop of healing, of whatever that's
So co-opted.
I know.
Every time I say like healing,
Yeah.
safety, I just want to effing cringe because it's so true, but it's so cringy because those words have been overused and co-opted for victimhood, and it just drives me bonkers.
I know. Me too.
Whatever.
It kind of hurt me even just to say it, but that's
Those are the words.
those are the words.
Been co-opted because there's a lot of truth in it, but barf at the same time.
Yeah. So we're really, I guess, unveiling now on this podcast, and you'll see it, we'll talk about it all the time, and you'll see it on all our social media. And if you run into us, in town, we'll probably talk about it, because we pretty much just talk about it all the time.
That's what people only want to talk to us about anything.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah. So we've got 5 pillars, and I'll just briefly run through the pillars, and then we can, I don't know, John, if you want to jump in with stuff or if we whatever. So the first one is wellness. And so really what we're talking about here with wellness is sleep, is nutrition, is sunlight, a lot of the stuff that we've talked about in previous podcasts. It's kind of just that
Wellness.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like everyone has a different version of overall wellness because for me, you named those things. But for me, it's like central nervous system healing and all overall broad mind, body, spirit, soul wellness.
Yeah.
Right.
It's really, like we mentioned at the top, it's the foundation.
Yeah.
It's if you haven't taken steps to heal those things or to fix those things or to improve, I guess maybe is the best word, taking action steps on those things, all the other stuff doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You can push a bunch of metal around in the gym, but if you don't have the foundation, it's gonna crumble.
Yeah.
You can't build your house.
Get you so far, right? Just like if you're using the gym analogy, if you don't have a calm central nervous system and you're completely dysregulated, there's some things, some goals you're not going to reach.
Yeah.
Because you are constantly in fight or flight. You've got a cortisol wash all over you, and the body responds to cortisol. And sorry, you're going to hit a wall.
Yep.
Right. Yep. So,
I mean, all those things. If you're not prioritizing sleep, you're not going to have recovery. If you're not prioritizing nutrition, you're not going to have the pieces that your body needs to build muscle or, any.
Yeah.
So all these things, wellness, the foundation really of everything that we're talking about. The next thing is movement. Yep. So movement is the tool. Yep. Right. Let me make sure I'm getting all these right. So that's, I mean, obviously we were just using the gym analogy and just to continue that on, that's really, I mean, what you're going to use to see or not to see, to feel. Yeah. To feel the transformation that you're going through.
And the reason why we used movement is because at this point in my life, yes, I believe everyone should be resistance training, but it's more important that you just effing move.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we have moved into lots of lymphatic drainage and stretching and mobility and more calming, and we're still lifting, but I am only lifting heavy twice a week. Mm-hmm. That is it. And because I've been trying to support my central nervous system and in that part of it, you have to fucking move.
Yeah.
Like, it just is that. Yep. It's like when we were having the conversation earlier about how I'm so tired of talking about nutrition and what diet is the best and what this is the best and protein and blah, blah. Here's the deal. Like, non-negotiable, eat food that comes from the freaking earth. Mm-hmm. Like, the science is out there. I'm done talking about it. Figure out how it makes you feel. If this amount of protein is too much for you and it doesn't work good for your body, then don't do it.
Yeah.
If you don't want to eat meat because you don't want to
for whatever reason, yeah. Eat. Yeah.
I don't even care. Can we just eat food that came from the planet?
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
And then
the conversations of carnivore and I just makes me sick.
And so then movement is kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
In that it's a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
What we're going to focus on is, again, I mean, we use the infinity healing idea. The first thing is move.
Yeah.
Walk, move.
Yeah.
Get up. That's not something that we're going to really focus on anymore.
Yeah.
Because that's just a given. That's not.
You are already moving.
Yes.
I'm not trying to convince you to effing move anymore. The science is out there.
Yeah.
That has been, talk about just like eaten up and puked out over and over. Mm-hmm. If it is not sunk in that you need to eat foods from the planet and friggin' move your body.
Yeah.
And you're listening to this podcast, I just
kind of surprised you. But what we will talk about, just as an example, is stuff like the lymphatic movement. Like, here's a cool thing that we're trying now, that's an add-on. And, here's what we're seeing. Here's our actual, results or the impact in our lives. Give it a shot.
Yeah.
If you want to, or if not, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's one of those supplement things.
Yes.
Or, we might get into, hey, I got a wild hair and I'm lifting heavy again. Let's talk about it. Or yeah.
Or for me, one of the things this year, oh my goodness, I'm speaking it out.
What?
I want to jump on the box.
Oh.
Why? Because I have a massive fear around it. Even the thought of jumping on that, what is it, 24
4, I think is
inch
yeah.
box.
Yeah.
My heart starts to pound and I could cry.
Mm-hmm.
It's so scary to me. And so I thought, no, guess who's going to lean into the uncomfortable thing in her training? Me, because I tell you guys to do it all the time and I need to do that. So my goal this year, and I might even do some social media on it, like the whole progression of Donna having a mental breakdown the first time she goes to try to attempt this. My gosh, I jumped on the box and now I feel like, the Queen of Sheba, but things like that, or pull-up progressions, or whatever those new things, knee rehab, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So the next thing is mindset. And I forgot what this one was that you said at the top. Mindset is, do you have that?
It's the driver.
Maybe? The driver.
The driver.
Thank you.
It's your mindset.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you might be noticing a theme, picking up on the theme that we've got going on as far as there is a non-negotiable with mindset as well that we're not going to dwell on a bunch because it's the past, so to speak. And it is the past. You got to get out of the past.
Yeah.
You got to stop reliving and, rehearsing those situations. And as soon as you identify what that is, whatever that, that trauma or that experience or that whatever it was that shaped some feeling, that's fantastic. Now move on.
Yeah.
And so the mindset piece is once you've moved on, how do you do that? What are some tools you can use? What are some specific things? Again, like, I'm trying this new kind of meditation that, really worked. Or, we talk about the things that are great. There's also, hey, I tried this meditation and it sucked.
Yeah.
It didn't work for me at all. It didn't get me where I needed to be, whatever. Maybe it'll work for you, who knows? But this has been my personal experience. But it's not, let's for the 50th time, relive this one moment when I was 9 and say how it shaped my entire life. Okay, we got it.
Yeah.
Now let's go forward.
Even I had a shitty day.
Yeah.
Right? How am I just dealing with that? Because, we've talked about toxic positivity.
Yeah.
Life can be shitty. And how did we move through that, right? With using the tools that we have, that we've given you guys, right? Requalifying the thoughts. You're not responsible for the first thought because shit just comes into your brain, but you are responsible for the second thought. Being able to identify ego-driven thinking as opposed to higher level thinking. All of those things, right? That's what we're really going to lean into with mindset instead of,
Yeah.
it's just like,
here's another way to think about how everything was bad before.
Yeah.
Just not doing that anymore.
Yeah. Yep.
Not doing that. Next thing, personal responsibility. So this is the container really that holds all those other things. Yeah. It's you.
It is.
And really the non-negotiable moving forward part of that is exactly that. You have to accept the fact that it's you.
Yeah, that you created your life.
Yeah.
Your mind is a magnet. We talk about it all the time. If you're focusing on worry and hate, blah, 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 that's what your life is going to look like. It just is.
Mm-hmm.
It's you. It's not everyone else. It's not the fucking government. It's not the medical system. It's not the religious structure. It is me.
Yeah.
Me. And once you realize that, then there's obviously right? Like,
yeah.
oh shit. But then you also get all the power to change it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're not outsourcing your power in any of these ways anymore. You have the power to change your life.
Yeah.
And that's what we really want to hit home this year. You've got the power, you've got it in you. We're showing you the tools. Come walk with us.
Mhm. And the last one, lived experience. So this is like again, a word that maybe is a little weird, but this is the validation. This is when you get to see, we'll talk a lot about what our lived experiences are, all that stuff. But this is where you get to see one of my favorite things, very specifically with when you're training people and doing personal training, is when somebody comes in and they're like, I could lift the dog food bag.
Yeah.
I used to not be able to, and now I can. That's the proof. That's your own life reflecting back. Oh, I'm doing things right. I'm on this right path.
Here's another way of looking at it from a different perspective with what we've talked about in the past. When you're conversing with someone and you get triggered or offended, you go, oh, why did I get triggered? Oh, that's something inside of me I have to deal with.
Yeah.
It's not them. Your triggers are a, pathway to what is going on inside of your own heart, right? That's another way that translates. And here's the deal. In terms of lived experience, the reason why we are passionate about elevated life is because we have fucking been there.
Yeah.
Clint shared his whole story. I've been sharing my story. It's so long and so multifaceted that if I sat down and told you my whole life story, it would be a Rogan podcast.
Yeah.
Long, right?
Yeah.
We all know it's out there. And we know what it is on the other side through all of this. And that's why we're sharing it. And that's why instead of living in this muck over here, it's time to move through it, right? That's where we're at. I spent years dealing with the physical part of my body. And this whole year, 2025, has been insane with the inner man. Now, there's been pieces of that in the past, right? But this year it blew up.
Mm-hmm.
It just blew up. And now I feel empowered because I have tools, right? I have tools when, like I said, when I get triggered and I'm like, oh, that's something within me. Or being able to identify why other people do what they do, that it comes from their unhealed issues. And then I can look at it with compassion instead of judgment, requalified thoughts, all the things.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's been the hardest shit ever, ever, but the most rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not doing these healing things that we talk about. It's not about, I was up on a mountain and I was enlightened and everything was great. No, you want to know the truth? Sleepless nights, crying more than I even knew was humanly possible.
Mm-hmm.
Questioning why I'm even alive,
Mm-hmm.
if it's even worth it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just honestly, like, sometimes do you guys not just feel like, fuck this shit? Not that I'm suicidal or anything, but it's literally like the most, having your heart ripped out of your body and dismantled and then shoved back in.
Yeah.
Like, it's not beautiful. It's a mess. But what's on the other side of it is there is no English word for it. I've tried to find it. Euphoria? I don't know. The peace that surpasses all understanding.
Yeah.
Like, it's so intense, but it's not easy.
No, it's not.
It's brutal.
So to circle back to what we started with in the beginning, because that's what we do.
That's what you do. You keep me on track. I'm like, hallelujah.
Yeah, you should hear the conversations when we don't have the cameras on.
Yeah. I think they're the same.
Oh, they're exactly the same. Yeah. But anyway, to get back to kind of doing this, I've really thought a lot about this lately, and it's really bothering me more and more. But what I was going to say is doing this reset.
Yeah.
Right. Reset to me is just weird.
It is a reset.
I don't think it is either. And it was just an instinct for me to say. And then, I'm questioning myself as I'm talking. Like, this isn't a reset because that implies we're erasing, whatever happened before. And we're not doing that. But where we are right now,
it's an evolution.
It really is. Yeah. Where we are right now is our goal or our intent, because we like to live very intentionally in 2026 and beyond, I guess, is, like Jonna said at the beginning, is really to walk alongside you.
Yeah.
When you've already, like you were just mentioning, when you've already ripped your heart out, and then you're like, how do I get this back in? What do I do with this? And how do I get it back in? And then rip it out again and get it back in, rip it out again and get it back in. We're here to help with that. No, we're here to be there with that because we've lived it. Like Jonna just mentioned. No.
Because you don't arrive. There's no arrival point. But because we've lived it, because we've had lived experience, we know that it's super helpful when you have a community or people who just effing understand, right? Because you can't just go up to someone at the barbecue and be like, oh my gosh, I just realized that I am a detached.
Yeah.
Attachment style is disassociation, and I haven't felt my hands in 20 years.
And here's what I'm doing to fix it. Are you interested in that?
Like, seriously, and it's like, no, we're not talking about that.
Yeah.
So that's why we're here.
And it's also, along those same lines, it's very difficult to, like we talked about, trying to pull people along. It's hard enough when you're in the boat and you're trying to pull people up, but when you're frantically swimming right next to them and then trying to pull them along, you've got no chance. And that's what it can feel like, when I'm half a step in that thing ahead of somebody and like, I need somebody to talk to about this. I need that, some sort of a relationship, because that's what we need as humans. And then the people around me are fighting it or have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about, or, don't care, or whatever it is.
You just need that validation for the emotion. Like,
yeah.
Oh, my heart just got ripped out. I'm sure someone just said, oh my gosh, yes. I know that feeling. I know the feeling of laying on my bed face down in my own snot. Yes. Normal.
But I also know the feeling and the things that I use to get my ass up.
Yeah.
And to get back going, knowing full well I'm going to be back down there. But I'm going to be back down there a different person.
Yep.
I'm going to be back down there with more tools, with more capability, stronger, and know that I can face that next time and the next time and the next time. So that's what we're doing. That's why we're here. That's where we're going.
That's the vision of 2026. Yeah, it's exciting. I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So thank you for listening. Yay. I hope that you found that helpful. Please like, review, share, follow, do all those things if you found value in this. If you didn't, okay, we're cool with that, because, we're not for everyone.
Yeah. And reach out.
Yeah.
Reach out whatever way you're comfortable, email, comment on this podcast. We're all over social media, but reach out. And, if you've got if you want to share, or if you want to make sure that somebody's actually there next to you.
Yeah. Seriously, if you want a cup of coffee and you live locally, right?
Yeah.
Like legit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We are here.
Yes, we are. All right. Have a good day. Thank you so much for listening to Elevated Life. If this episode resonated with you, We'd be incredibly grateful if you'd rate, review, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Your reviews help us reach more people who are ready to break free from the comfortable hell and step into real transformation. To rate and review on Apple Podcasts, open the app, search for Elevated Life, scroll down and tap Rate and Review. To rate and review on Spotify, tap the show page, scroll down and select your star rating, then tap Write a Review to leave your thoughts. You can also connect with us on social media. We're on Facebook as Elevated Life and on Instagram and TikTok at CJElevatedLife_. We'd love to hear from you. We'll catch you next time. Keep elevating.